Hello, welcome to my channel. Our focus for today is do's and don'ts in sign language communication. We shall look at one half, which is the do's, and the other half, which is the don'ts. So the first one, in sign language communication, you should make sure your palm faces your audience. The second one is that you should keep your hand close to the body, or your hand must stay by the body. The third one is that anytime we want to get the hearing impaired attention, we can gently tap them, or perhaps we can ask somebody who is close by to draw their attention that we want to talk to them or communicate with them. Another thing is also that perchance, if you happen to be in a room, we can either turn off or on the lights in the room. Perhaps they may turn to that direction when you get the eye contact, and then communication starts from there. Now, the fourth one is that sign language is a visual language. It takes eye to eye, or to have eye contact, before communication goes on. So, unlike the hearing folks, they can be elsewhere in different rooms and can still communicate based on their voice, or how loud or so they can be without seeing themselves. So that is it, that we should make sure we establish an eye contact before we start our communication. Now, the fifth one is that anytime we happen to meet persons with disability or those using sign language, we should endeavor to accommodate them by smiling or showing good manners. Don't forget, these people never chose their current situation. Some of them were born disabled, others who acquired it later in life, some illness in terms of age, etc. Now, all of us, you and I, are potential candidates of disability. That is why, now that has happened to someone else, there's a need to accommodate them, because that is what society even demands of us. Now, let's look at the don'ts. The very first one is, anytime we are signing, the palm shouldn't face the body or face us or elsewhere. When it happens like that, the implication is that you are signing to your own self. So when I spell or assign A, B, C, D, you cannot recognize the signs. That is why you shouldn't let the palm faces your own self. Now, the second one is, you shouldn't send the hand away from the body. The meaning is that anytime the hand is away from the body, it demands an extra energy or attention to look at the direction of the hand and facial expression at the same time. But when the hand stays by the body, it's easier to read what goes on here and the facial expression to derive the meaning we intend to get from the communication. Now, the third one is that we shouldn't throw an object to hit the deaf people. Perhaps we want to get their attention. First of all, we should know that when you throw objects, it can hurt them. And then also, they are not animals that we have to throw objects to hit them before we get the attention. That's so wrong. So you desist from throwing objects to these individuals. Now, the next one is that anytime persons who uses sign language are communicating, we shouldn't pass in their midst or in between them. Now, there is a saying that the hearing impaired, they speak with their eyes, they hear with their eyes and they speak with their hands. So, during their communication, if you pass in between them, in actual sense, you have blocked their ear. Unlike the hearing folks, you can be talking, somebody can be passing back and forth. Because the voice is there, we can still hear what goes on. Now, when a hearing person is listening to a radio, a program, what have you, and then we put our fingers in the ears this way, it blocks the hearing, and that person will not be able to get whatever goes on. In the same way, when we pass in between signers, we block their hearing, and then we disturb them a lot because they will not enjoy whatever they are saying or in communication. Now, what is required of us is that we can pass by them or pass behind them. Passing in between them, it's not advisable. Now, the final one is that we shouldn't put leaf or paper on our lips or in our mouth in addressing the deaf people. Or we shouldn't put our hands here and do this to address them. Anytime we do that, we relegate them to the background, and then the essence is that we are referring them or equating them to animals, and which is not appropriate. They are full human beings, their feelings, their senses are working. The only thing they have lost is their hearing. So there is still the need to give them that support they need in society. Thank you very much for staying with me till now. Let's continue to share knowledge. Stay tuned.